Dean, we just saw some video of you picking up Kirill Kaprizov at the airport and when he first arrived in Minneapolis, St. Paul. What was that experience like? We've been talking so much about this player over the last couple of years. To finally see him in person here in the Twin Cities, what was that like?
Well, first I took a lot of heat for picking him up because I spoke to him like I was like Drago or something from Rocky, but I didn't understand how well he spoke English. But it was great. Immediately as soon as I spoke to him, you could tell his personality was wonderful throughout the whole time, and he was just very comfortable to talk to, very excited to be here, or to be in Mini. And Billy and I met with him afterwards, and very personable guy, and really looking forward to having him on the team. And what really impressed us the most is how excited he was to meet his teammates. I mean, that's all he kept saying is, when do I get to go meet the guys? And we're like, wow, there's a bit of a COVID thing going on. So, but that was exciting for us as well.
One of those teammates is a guy who really seemed to emerge last season in Kevin Fiala. When you start now sketching out your line combinations and the way your lineup might land at the start of the season, what are your thoughts with thinking about you now have a couple of guys who look like they've got upper end NHL offensive skill?
Well, it's exciting for us as a franchise, obviously, to have the two that you mentioned, and obviously, Billy's been hard at work in shaping our hockey club to have skill, to have speed, and to play an exciting brand of hockey. And these two guys certainly will provide that for us. So, we've as a coaching staff, we've had some fun, as you said, projecting line combinations and who's going to fit where, and really excited to get them actually on the ice so that we can see some chemistry. We can play with a little bit through training camp of who seems to play well together.
How much of a challenge is that in a season like this where there's been as much turnover on your roster? You've got some guys that you've seen as an opponent, but not as a guy inside your own room. It's different when you're starting to evaluate where they fit, what their skill set might be. How challenging is that as you start to sketch those lines together, not really having had a chance to coach these players before?
Well, we spoke of it as a group. Billy and I talked about it, and the coaching staff talked about it early this week, that we're excited about having the opportunity to having fresh people in our dressing room, and having the opportunity for our core group to bring these guys along into hopefully to continue, what we started as far as, within the room and obviously on the ice to play good hockey. But we're excited about every person. And you always hear guys are excited to come and all that kind of stuff, and you hear good things about people. But every guy that we've made an acquisition for or brought in a different way or what have you, all we hear is how good of people they are. Obviously, we know they're good hockey players. But to have good people in our room to continue building is exciting for us.
We talked last year when you were named the head coach about the transition from being an assistant coach to the head coach in terms of some of the relationships with players, communication with players. And you at that time said, you know what, I don't think it has to change. I think you can have the same kind of rapport. Is it different now when you go into the season as a head coach and as you welcome some new players to the organization? Can you just build off what you did in the past?
I think so. I don't think again, I've been asked that question a lot. And like I said, 30 years ago, maybe I would have said, yeah, the head coach has to step back. But I don't think that has to happen anymore. I think if you have a relationship with somebody, why would you not continue it to hopefully get the best out of your player, and then ultimately the best out of your team? So as you know, a lot of coaching is working with the individuals to get them to play to their best abilities within the team structure, so that we have a chance to win. So I'm going to continue to communicate as much as I can, and as much as I can be the person that I've always been as far as coaching, and hopefully that allows us to have success. But I know the coaching staff that we've put together is exactly the same way. I mean, very personal guys that care, will get in there and build those relationships to hopefully get our team to have success.
We asked a few fans if they had questions for you, and we got a few good ones. And one of them was referring to the potential of this season starting inside some type of a bubble format. And we don't know yet exactly what that might be. We don't know exactly if that will be. But if it is, how much can you pull from your experience in the bubble last year in the summer and take that forward into this year to help you adjust to that kind of life at the start of the NHL season?
Well, I think it can certainly help us, and it already has, with our preparation for training camp, the way that we conducted the camp, the way that we went into the bubble, all that kind of stuff. But as you know, everything changes and is changing constantly. So, and we're prepared for that. And I think one of the really good things we did as a group is not let anything get to us when we got there or in preparing to get to Edmonton. We just we rolled with everything and took it all in stride. And I thought our attitudes was wonderful. Obviously, we didn't have the success that we wanted, but yeah, we can certainly learn from a lot of things that happened prior to going to Edmonton.
You had an opportunity to at least experience a little bit of a training camp with the restart last year. Another question from a fan was about adjusting now and excitement level as you plan your first pseudo-regular NHL training camp. How many times have you sat down now to say, okay, let's assume we have our 2 weeks, let's assume we have 3 weeks, and make your plan for what would be a normal prep for a season?
Yeah, basically the same. I think that our structure can likely stay the same. Obviously, we're going to tweak our videos and what have you as far as how how we present it. We're going to have more video, obviously, of the bubble, but we're going to make a few tweaks here and there systematically. But I think it's exciting to sit down and talk about training camp, and which we have, and get our structure straight for when we want to scrimmage, when we want to get there. But again, without knowing exactly how many days we're going to have till we have our first exhibition game, or if we have an exhibition game, it's kind of up in the air. But we can put our plans together, and we have started that process.
We talked a little bit about some of the new faces you have. Most of that turnover has been in your forward group. You do go into the season with your defensive core largely intact. How much does that allow stability in both a schematic sense, but also just a comfort sense, knowing that you've got that kind of a leadership group, that kind of a stable, puck-moving, the kind of defensive core that you've thrived with here over the last few years? How much does that help you as you move into the season?
Well, it's a really good point because, as you know, and have heard, and we've all heard, I mean, how important defense are for a hockey club to have success. And our group back there, we believe, is as good as anybody in the NHL. So it is going to allow us to have that foundation to keep the puck out of our net, obviously, to play in front of our net, in front of our goaltenders, to limit their core quality opportunities. But as you mentioned, getting the puck out of our end and getting it up and playing with speed. I mean, we want to play fast. We tried, and I think we did a lot of really good things as far as our pace when we took over and in the bubble. We played the game fast, and to do that, you have to move the puck out of your end quickly and get it going the other way. So our defense core is very capable of doing that, and we look forward to having them, build off of that, and like I said, the structure that they have.